Welcome to another exciting video. Today we'll be talking about the return of international students to China. The past week was filled with a lot of exciting news about the return of students. Pakistan, Sri Lanka, India, and recently it was Russia. But this brought a lot of mixed feelings, controversy, and questioning. Students were asking, but why Russia? Some students were asking, but what was the cost of their travel from Russia to China? And some students were asking, but what is the cost of their travel? So in today's video, I'm going to answer all these three questions. We'll talk why Russia, what was the cost of their travel from Russia to China? And lastly, we'll talk about how were these students selected. If you're new to the channel, my name is Roy. I do videos about my life in China. I talk about the experiences of international students, how to get admissions in Chinese universities, and generally I share my life as an expert living here in Shanghai, China. So if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to like the video, let us know where you're watching us from, and let's communicate in the comment section below. So please don't leave this video without hitting that subscription button so that when I bring videos like this, YouTube will give you a notification and you will be the first to watch our videos. So let's answer the first question. Why Russia? We've made it very clearly in our videos that all students will not return to China at the same time, which means that all the countries cannot come back at the same time. But exactly the criteria that will be chosen for which country will come first and which will come second, we cannot exactly tell. But what we can tell you is that it will depend on the pandemic situation in your country, the number of students who are vaccinated in your country, and also the diplomatic arrangements between your country and China. So your country can be doing a lot of diplomatic arrangements and diplomatic meetings, but if the pandemic situation in your country, if a lot of students are not vaccinated, then we think that your country cannot be prioritized. This is from our findings and from our observations. So looking at all this, we cannot exactly tell which country will come first and which will come second. But the good news is that since Russia have started, since other countries have already had notifications to prepare the list and to prepare the students and to get ready, it means that the other students will start following suit. So now let's talk about the cost of travel from Russia to China. Remember, the students came from different cities in Russia and landed in different cities in China. Some students landed in Shenzhen from Moscow, and some students landed from another city in Russia, in Harbin. These are all neighboring cities to Russia, so the cost will be very different. But I'll be showing you some proofs of our findings on the different costs of travel from Russia to China. We've divided this cost into three categories. Pre-travel expenses, which means that the cost before their travel, then the cost of their travel, and the cost of their arrival, or the cost incurred in their arrival in China, and also some cost after their arrival. So the first pre-cost was 7 days of quarantine in Russia, and this costed them 2,500 RMB for 7 days at the cost of 357 RMB per night. The second cost was 5 COVID tests in Russia for 1,300 RMB. Now let's talk about the cost of the flight. Remember I said they came from two different cities. Those who traveled from Moscow to Shenzhen, the flight ticket was 15,900 RMB. And those who traveled from Serbia to Harbin, Harbin is very close to Russia, the flight ticket was only 4,000 RMB. That's why we just give an average to say that the cost from Russia to China was 15,900 RMB. Now let's talk about the cost in China. Quarantine cost. Those who landed in Shenzhen spent 21 days in a hotel for 450 RMB per night. That's 9,450 RMB for 21 days. So total expenses for those who landed in Shenzhen was about 29,000 RMB. That's about $4,500. And those who landed in Harbin was about 17,000 RMB. That's almost about $2,300. $2,300. This is excluding the cost, because now they're in China, they have to travel from Shenzhen to their various universities, and they also have to pay either a flight ticket or take the fast train or the slow train. This is excluding that cost. Remember, all these are just estimates that we're given, but we have proofs that I've been displaying on the screen. You've seen all the proofs of this information. I'm also going to put the source of this information at the description. You can check also to see the source of this information, and you can estimate this from your country to China and see the cost of the flight ticket. But remember, the cost of flight tickets also is not very stagnant, it's not very stable. It might change, it might increase, it might decrease, depending on when you have the opportunity to travel to China. So students from Europe, Asia, Africa, and in America, you can already start to estimate your total cost if you're asked to return to China today. The cost of quarantine might not have a big change because the hotel charges might not change a lot, but we don't know how the cost of flight tickets might change depending if your country supports you with a chartered flight or you get some help from somewhere. I don't know about that. Now let's talk about the selection process. Who is eligible to travel? Well, from my finding, from my investigations, I didn't have a clear justification on who was chosen to travel at this time. But I'm going to share with you some information that can help you guide, or that can guide you to know who was selected and who will not be selected, or who will be given priority over who. So now, from the forms that the Chinese government has sent, that students can fill that information so that they could see who will be prioritized over who, we can use that form to justify who will be selected. Now let's look at the case of India. I'm going to display the information on the screen. You can see that they're asking your major, they're asking when you will graduate, they're asking your city where you live in your country, they're asking the city that your university is in China, they're asking the year of your study, in which year are you, how many more courses do you have to graduate, and so on. So from that information we can see that they will check, and also they're asking if you're vaccinated or not, and how many doses of vaccination have you had. So you see that all of this will be considered before you will be considered to travel or not. So if you're not vaccinated, I advise you to get your vaccine before time, because you might not be eligible to travel if you are not vaccinated. And also the city in which your university is located in China, what's the current situation of the virus in that city? Is it safe at this time for students to enter that city? And also your year of study. We believe that students who have finished their courses and are left with practicals and research work or maybe internship will be given the priority to come and finish that and graduate. Meanwhile, new students or students who still have a lot of course or class work might be placed at the back or might be placed in the next consignment of students that will be traveling to China. So with all this information, you can already start to look at your situation, look at yourself, look at your country, and tell if it's to travel today. Are you ready? Are you ready financially? Are you ready health-wise, mentally, psychologically? Think of all these reasons and ask yourself, if you're to travel today, are you ready? So guys, thank you so much for watching up till this end of the video. If you have any comments, please let us know in the comment section below. Like the video, share it with someone, and if you're watching our videos and you like it and you like to subscribe to our channel, please go ahead, hit that subscription button so that when I bring videos like this, you'll be the first to watch our video. Until now, it's peace out. I'll see you in our next video. Bye bye.